Hey everybody, me again. I got a package last week from my friend Nuny. She's Thai. She's from Thailand. We met at Heron School of Art. She is a lovely person. She's just one of the nicest people. And in school, she was the person who you wanted to run across when you went to the photo lab or whatever because she was just always super excited and just fun to be around. Wonderful person, and I'm really thankful that I met her and I know her. She sent me a box of noodles, which is brilliant because she sent me again Thai market noodles. They're not meant for export necessarily. So I have this whole box of different Thai noodles to try, brands that I've never heard of, flavors I've never considered, things like that. And that to me, I get stuck in this idea of wanting to like everything. That's not the point. The point is to explore. And so I want to get back to trying things that I have no concept of necessarily. With that in mind, today I'm going to be tasting two cup noodles, instant noodles. These are both by Wai Wai, which is the brand. Oh, there we go. Little Wai Wai there. This flavor is tom yum, which is, if you go to Thai restaurants in the United States, this is kind of the default soup that you'll be given if you get a meal that has, soup and appetizers, things like that. So tom yum is kind of it's a known flavor to me. It's kind of a spicy. There's a bit of seafood, but the way that they make it here, especially at my favorite Thai restaurant, is it's very bright, it's spicy, but it's not heavy at all. It's very clean and brothy. It's just one of my favorite soups, and I really enjoy it. So this is tom yum. So again, this is kind of a flavor profile that I have some knowledge of, at least the Americanized version. And then this one is tom Klong, which I believe, just the brief amount of research I did, this is based more on dried, possibly smoked fish. So I'm expecting a richer umami flavor with this, maybe a heavier seafood flavor, whatever. But we're going to give both of these a shot, and just kind of compare them. Again, something that I've not tried this version of it, but I have some idea of the flavorants that go into tom yum soup. This tom klong, I have not tried before, and again, it's about, I want to get back to this idea of trying things that I've not tried instead of going, I like this, I don't like that. Really, who cares? Everybody, our tastes are so different that I know people who absolutely love the stuff that I have trashed and people who can't stand the stuff that I like. So cool. So I am going to make both of these and try both of them. So I will be right back. Okay, so first up is the tom yum soup. Both of these come in plastic containers. They have a dry packet of just like, powder, and then an oil packet of semi-solid oil of some sort, whether it's chicken fat or whatever it is. But the oils were actually different in each one, but they're both the semi-solid kind of thing that I'm sure melts the minute you put it in there. But then it also has this powdered soup mix, and they also come with the little snap lock fork. So, these are actually, I don't care for these because, again, they're just filler for landfills. But if you're going to get one of these, I've gotten some of these that are so small that they're ineffectual as eating utensils. This one actually is that's a well-designed piece of equipment to use to do this thing. So at least they give you one that works. So these cook very quickly. The plastic cups, there's not very much insulation on them, so they're hot, and that's just something to be aware of. Is they're not like the styrofoam, like a styrofoam or a paper cup where they're holding more heat in. That heat is really radiating out, but they also have these little fins, little heat sinks on top. So if you want to hold it by there, this is perfectly comfortable. I could do this the length of time it's going to take. So you're going to want to hold it top and bottom like that. And even with this, on the bottom here, I'm getting a lot of heat off the top, but I think these little fins are almost designed, it gives you a way of holding the cup like that. So, cool. Again, I love design, and I love when people actually think out problems and fix them. So, first off, these cook very quickly. The noodles are really thin, actually. So, they look good, though. Smells good. It's not particularly strong. There is yeah, it's just a nice brothiness to it. It doesn't smell like the tom yum soup that I've had, but again, it's an instant product. What do you kind of expect? So give these a shot. So hit the itadakimasu. Okay, so I'm getting the brightness of citrus, lemongrass maybe. There is a pepper to it. There's a heat, back of throat heat's good. It's actually really spicy, not stupid hot, but pleasantly hot. Yeah, that broth is I'm so used to instant noodles just having this kind of flat saltiness. It's just like salty, and that's pretty much it. This actually has a citrusy brightness to it, along with that pepper. This is really good. The noodles are thin, but they're also toothsome. They have a chew. They're good, and they're holding the soup well. So, well, that was fun. Had a piece of something hit the back of my throat and threw me into a coughing fit. So, it's not because they're particularly peppery or spicy. It's the thing of slurping in noodles is sometimes a bad idea. Because if it goes back and hits the back of my throat, it just makes me just start coughing like an idiot. Oh, man. Okay. The noodles are good. I'm going to continue eating these noodles. Because I also have to go make and try, no, I have to, I want to go try the Tom Klong and to compare it to this, but I want to eat some more of these to get a better baseline. Plus, they're just good noodles. So sorry for my voice, but, you know. These are good. They have a, sorry for all this. They have a good broth. They have a good noodle. It's kind of the thing that you want from instant noodles. It's not something that you're eating because it's garbage and there's nothing else to eat. This is actually a pleasant, this would be really good on a train station when it's cold and you're sitting outside and waiting for your train, and these are what you got. And so they would be very warming, very comforting, and they just taste good. The noodles are really holding up too, which is great. I hate it when noodles get soggy, flaccid, as they sometimes do. I was watching a guy on YouTube, New York ramen maker, and he's basically like, you have 10 minutes to eat a bowl of noodles. After 10 minutes, it's ruined. So you're getting ramen or whatever kind of wheat-based noodle. They're not meant to be casually enjoyed for, you know, an hour. They're meant to be consumed quickly, and then you can chit-chat over your tea or whatever. But I think I've had noodles that have gone 3-4 minutes and already gotten soggy. These are still holding up, and really they work well with the broth, the way that they're shaped. So I'm going to hit one more taste of these, and then I'll go do the Tom Klong and see how that goes. Yeah, these are really good. These are very tasty, and again, I love that citrus. And again, if it's lemongrass, lime, whatever it's in there, it's really bright, and it's much more pleasant than just the overall saltiness of most noodles. So I'm gonna go make the Tom Klong, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now we have the Tom Klong. To compare that to the Tom Yum. Yep, same Seems to be the same noodles. Yeah, there's a, yep, that is dried fish. This is still kind of going, so I'm going to let this go. I'll tell you a little story about Japan. There is a product in Japan that I have now just forgotten the name of. It is skipjack tuna that is compressed and smoked. I'm sure some of you watching this will know what I'm talking about. It is one of the key ingredients in dashi stock, which is kind of the main cooking stock for a lot of Japanese cuisine. It is shaved with basically a wood plane into these very, very thin bits of this compressed smoked tuna. It is like, when you see a piece of it, it looks like a piece of wood. It looks like a piece of wood that someone has been whittling on. There was a plant by our apartment in Hibinocho, in Nagoya, where I lived in Japan, that made this stuff. And I walked past it every time I walked to Kaneyama Station or to Mr. Donut or whatever. I'd walk down this one street, and I would always get hit with this smell. And the first week I was there, I walked by it, and it was like, oh my God, this is horrible. It's just so strong and heavy, and it's kind of like one of those things like, familiarity does not always breed contempt. Sometimes you get used to something and then you start to learn to appreciate what it is. And that's one of the reasons I want to try to keep pushing myself to try new foods, is I don't want to be limited. I want to find more things. So the plant where they made this stuff, through the years or the months that I lived there for that 1 year, I got used to the smell. Then I began to enjoy the smell. And one of the last things I did before I moved was to go by this place and just take the biggest snort I could of this smell, because in a lot of ways that was Japan to me. It was exciting and interesting, but once I got kind of settled into it, I started appreciating the things that it was all excitement at the first, oh, hey, the robots and, this and that and this and that. That's great. Japan's not Disneyland. No country is Disneyland. It is its own place. People are working, raising their kids and everything. They're living their own lives. And once I started feeling like, yeah, people are still living their lives and I'm a part of that. Like, I started going places where in the restaurant the people recognized me and I was kind of a regular. I still didn't speak the language well enough, but I was still like accepted more. And that place that made the ingredient that I cannot remember the name of right now, that stuff was so important to me because it was a transition in my own brain, my own way of thinking. That's something when I first got there, I found vile. By the time I left, had become comforting to me. And to smell that smell, blah, blah, blah. Talking too much, eat some noodles. So this is the Tom Klong. Again, it is flavored more with dried and I believe smoked fish. Yeah, definitely. That is very similar to the Japanese product, the smell. Not my first thing. Not, again, after the lobster noodles, I don't care for heavy seafood smells that are instant like this or that are whatever. But that being said, it's not awful. It reminds me of that place in Japan. It reminds me of that. It's very smoky, umami, kind of like, almost like cedar or something. Like it has a very depth of flavor to it. A very deep depth. Never mind. So let's give these a shot. After talking so much, I'm actually going to try the soup first on these. I'm going to stir them because I think I've got. There we go. Yeah, it's actually kind of almost a sweetness to it. Try that again. There's almost a sweetness. It tastes like it smells, but not as strongly. The smell is definitely the main thing. There is a citrus note on top of that. So I think there are kaffir leaves are in here. Maybe again lemongrass, something like that. There is an herbal brightness to it, and it counteracts that heavy umami of the fish. So let's give the noodles a shot. Yeah, these are actually, they smell stronger than they taste. There is a subtlety to the broth and the flavor that is good. And again, I can see these being a very comforting dish in winter. Um, yeah, they're good. Actually, I enjoy the tom yum more because not because it's a familiar flavor. I actually just think I like that flavor better. I like that brightness. This has a little heat to it as well. There's some peppers in there. Um, this is not in any way bad. I mean, it's not. It's literally a matter of preference for me. These are both actually well-made instant noodles. They are well created. The seasonings and everything work. The noodles are very good. Nothing really to complain about with these. I just prefer those. So these are not as bright. They're not as citrusy. They're not as elevated. Kind of. They're more of a deep. They're a deeper flavor. And again, I'm getting that pepper kind of builds up on you. Either one of these would be lovely when you were cold. They would help immensely. Um, but yeah, I these are Wai Wai. Um, Wai Wai? Wai Wai? Sorry. Again, ruining languages. That's what I do. Uh, they're both good, and I actually will keep my eye open for this company's product because it works. I've had so many of these things that are, you know, they look like cup noodles, they act like cup noodles, they don't taste anything like cup noodles. The American stuff where they're like, oh hey, we're gonna use a bunch of hyperbole on the label, and we're gonna make a bad product. These, again, I can't read most of the label, even though there are English instructions very tiny on the bottom, which is kind. Um, but the product speaks for itself. You don't have to have a bunch of hyperbole if you just put hot water in noodles, and they're delicious. So I'm going to call these both. These are both delicious. I'm actually going to finish probably both of them, but definitely this one. So I hope you're all doing well. These are, again, Wai Wai, Wai Wai, Wai Wai, Wai Wai noodles, and hope you find some and hope you like them. So take care. Bye.